Sony just released a new pair of headphones called the ULT Wear, or ULT One in short, which are the replacement headphones for their bass-heavy headphones XB910. If you cannot cope with the new naming scheme Sony has you covered, you can still use their regular product names, which is WH ULT 900Ns. These headphones are made for people who like to be shaken to the core, and my god, these can actually help you with this. So let me get straight to the point. If you like bass, you're gonna like these headphones. The sound itself comes in 3 different bass configurations, courtesy of the ULT Knob, prominently highlighted with shiny reflective foil, which also goes for the Sony logo. The headphones themselves sport everything you could want in terms of features, but before we go into this, let's start at the beginning. For 199 euros you get a traveling case that includes a regular USB A to C charging cable, an audio plug cable, as well as the headphones themselves, which are now foldable for greater transporting pleasure. Wow. The case itself is steady and made out of the typical materials Sony likes to use for its transporting case, as you can see here with the XM5 version. Design-wise, the ULT One are the chunky brothers of the XM5. They feature all the prominent design cues you expect from a Sony product of the newest generation. Just a tad more, let's call it Americanized. And this Americanization also goes for the materials. Cheaper plastic of the ear cups, a blender, non-rubbery finish overall, less premium materials on the headband, and less padding of faux leather, but a more flashy Sony logo. All in all, if this would not have been an original Sony product, I would have actually guessed that this is a cheap knockoff that tries to imitate the Sony look. And as you might have guessed, I'm not a fan of the design. I find 199 euros to be quite a lot of money for a pair of headphones, and I expect the mid-price tier to have better feeling materials. And this one isn't that great. It's the same problem I had with Sennheiser's newest mid-tier lineup, the Accentums, which also felt quite cheap in terms of plastic. Now going away from the design, let's quickly talk about the buttons and controls. As always, Sony uses a mix of both, and I'm fine with it. It's the same placement as on every other Sony headphone in the last couple of years. Except there's now an ULT button which toggles between 3 different bass modes. More on that later in this video. Comfort-wise, these are fine, and I've worn them for roughly 5 hours at a time, without any aches or sweating. The ear cups are a tad bigger than those of the more premium XM5s, but in terms of comfort levels, I'm happy with both headphones. Now, feature-wise, let's quickly talk about everything that is integrated in the ULT One, which is actually everything except an IPX rating, which I couldn't find any kind of information about. So this either means these have none, or Sony hasn't published it yet. Other than that, you get LDAC on Android, SBC, and of course AAC. LC3 and LE audio will come with a firmware update sometime down the line. There's multi-point connection with 2 devices at the same time, and switching between them works as great as expected from Sony. Then we have head tracking, or spatial audio, whatever you want to call it, which works fine, but right now still feels more like a gimmick than an actual feature. You also have a dedicated button to switch between noise cancelling and transparency, and can change the levels of it inside the Sony headphones app. I felt the most natural transparency mode to be somewhere in the middle. Let's also quickly talk about what's new with these headphones other than the ULT button. Sony integrated new 40mm drivers, which are 10mm bigger than the XM5's drivers. These are responsible for producing the bass you want inside the ULT One. The ear cups are slightly bigger to accommodate more ear shapes, and especially bigger ones, which is a step up from the XM5. Also, Sony added a pair of new beamforming microphones that helps with blocking out even more wind noise than its predecessor, and they also integrated the previously only available V1 chip from the XM5s into the ULT One, which helps with achieving, well, better active noise cancellation than the XB910s, their predecessors. Oh, and of course, we also have the quick attention feature, where you place your hands over the right ear cup to quickly go into transparency mode. I like this, but don't use it very often on my Sony headphones. Now, when it comes to ANC performance, the ULT One are better than the 910Ns, but slightly worse than the XM5s. It's good enough for your daily use, and 2 years ago this would have been at the forefront of ANC technology, crushing most other competitors. But let's actually hear for yourself. Here's a small binaural ANC recording of the new ULT One ANC. So all in all, feature-wise, it feels like a crossbreed between Sony's flagship headphones, the XM5s, and their bassy cousins, the 910s. And this is a good thing. You're getting quite a lot of flagship features for less money, but in a cheaper shell. So let's actually talk about the shiny elephant in the room, the ULT Knob. It's not for me. Over the years, I tend to like either headphones that can reproduce sound more natural like it is intended by the artist, or something super wild like the heavies with its multiple drivers, or the Neurophones with its mix of the outer bass shell and the in-ear thingies for everything else. But the ULT One are a bit of a hit or miss in terms of music. Listening to my favorite metal bands such as the new Era record or Protest the Hero, it sounded kinda wrong. Without the ULT button engaged, everything sounded super untight. Pushing the button once made everything tighter, but not really better. These are definitely not made for the wide range of metal productions out there, but any kind of electronic music was great, especially super tight productions such as Lord of the Synth by Isidore, or anything from 3/4 was blasting and felt, with lack of other words, mighty, until you actually engaged the Ultra Knob for a second time. The second press immediately overwhelms you with the wave of bass, drowning out the mids and the highs. At least this goes for most music I was listening to, and then I actually thought this could be an interesting feature for live recorded concert music, so I tested it with Bring Me the Horizons live at the Royal Albert Hall concert, and this added an interesting dynamic to this live music, making it feel, well, more like a real live concert due to the bass being more boomy. Oh, and now to all my German viewers, Deichkind fickt mit den Kopfhörern mal so richtig dein Ohrkanal. In the end, I think it's a taste thing as well as what you love to listen to. Of course, I also recorded you a small comparison between the 3 ULT modes. I recorded the same 2 songs in all 3 modes and will switch between them. So headphones on and enjoy the comparison.
Seeing you in sundress season got me all up in my feelings for the old days, old days. I've got the summertime blues, thinking about you and me in the way that it used to be.
So my conclusion is actually pretty simple. If you are a bass head and you enjoyed the XB910s, but always wanted something more like the XM5s, then this is actually the perfect headphone for you. If you also really enjoy electronic music in all of its different variations, then I think there's nothing better in terms of headphones for your taste. If you're primarily listening to metal, then go for another headphone. Metal doesn't sound that great with these. In total, the XM5s offer the better balanced sound, but all in all, it's a great upgrade for the XB910Ns. And especially when these go on sale for roughly 150 euros or so, they are worth their price tag. As always, my name is Leechtm and I'm off writing the next scripts. If you enjoyed this video, then make sure to subscribe to this channel. There are plenty more of this type of content and of course many other things available for you to watch. Have a great day, see you around, and goodbye.